Hello once again, Hokies. It is that time again. Game day preview as the Hokies open their season against Florida State. John Laaser, the Hall of Famer Mike Burnop, and Mikey, the storylines of this game have been well talked about through the course of the summer, and they're fairly obvious. Young Hokies team, small Hokie group going down to take on 80,000.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you got to be unified if you're going to handle the ups and downs of an environment like Tallahassee. It's one of the great venues of all of college football. The chop going for 60 straight minutes, Lays. I love going down there. It's really fun. But the team's going to have a big challenge, obviously. Young, inexperienced on defense, which is what we talked about the whole preseason. And those guys are going to have to grow up early. And then a lot of pressure on the offense. You know, that's where the experience is. You got 5 of your 6 rushers back. You got talent at wide receiver. And you got your quarterback back with 3 offensive line senior starters. So I think it's a good problem to have. Looking forward to it. Now you're at the point where you got to play somebody and see where we are.
DeAndre Francois dominating the headlines a few days back. He was named the starting quarterback for Florida State by head coach Willie Taggart. He's an explosive playmaker, hasn't played in almost a calendar year, but he's got some playmakers around him. Cam Akers, Jaquez Patrick, to name a couple. But, Mike, let's go back to the Hokies and their playmakers. They haven't gotten a lot of pub going into this game, but Josh Jackson, the incumbent, coming back, and he seems like a much more mature guy and leader going into this season.
Yeah, you know, Coach Fuente challenged him in the offseason to fall in love more with the process, and I think he has. He watched a lot of film. He talked about in January watching film on Florida State, looking at the coordinators that Willie Taggart had hired and where he was and what they were doing and whatnot. And I think that's good because he's been more aggressive, it seems like. He's got a little more velocity on his ball. I think he's gotten fitting the ball into tighter windows now. And he goes through his progressions a little bit quicker. And he's got some weapons around him. I mean, think about how good Damon Hazelton has been in this camp and how Trey Turner's come along. And you got all those other guys that played last year that are back. Not to mention, Jashawn McLeese picked up 12, 15 pounds, and my Peoples is back. So, yeah, he's got some weapons around him.
Hard to believe it's been almost 2 decades since the Hokies and Seminoles met for the national title. Maybe even harder to believe it's been almost a decade since the Hokies toppled Florida State for the ACC title. Won't play for either of those championships on Monday night, but you will play for a big first step and opening statement in the 2018 season. He's Mike Burnop. I'm John Laaser. This has been your GDP.